everyone, Magnus here. In today's video, we're going to look at a build-up in an electronic song. The song that we're using today is called Ocean. I released it about 2 weeks ago. It's kind of a beach, chill out, lounge, tropical house sounding song. Without further ado, let's take a look. Okay, so we got the session open. Let's listen all the way up to the build-up part and then we'll dive in from there. Let's check it out.
Side together, see the shining stars get brighter through the highest waves. We find our way until the tide is high by the ocean side together.
Okay, so there's actually not a lot going on in this build-up, but the main things in the build-up that I'm working on and what I tend to focus on first is creating some sort of automation just to make the build-up a little bit more interesting. Okay, now let's take a better look at the build-up. Just keep in mind that this is not a heavy EDM or a big room track with like a huge drop. This is kind of a tropical house, chill out sounding song. But we're kind of using some similarities in drops that you could use in EDM as well. But in this build-up, I'm trying to keep it kind of subtle. Let's listen to it once and then let's check it out. Okay, so really we only have 4 instruments in the build-up. We have bass, piano, we've got a pad, and we've got this acoustic build-up. I'm just going to check out these 3 for now. All these tracks, these 3 tracks here, have the same thing in common. We're using high cut frequency. This track has already been bounced out, but I am using a high cut frequency in this track as well. Let's listen to the piano track by itself. So you'll hear that last part. It really makes all the difference in my opinion. So the sound, maybe not the best way to explain this, but the sound kind of gets less and it changes a little bit. So you know that something is about to happen, which is the whole point. I'm just trying to create movement with the build-up. We are doing the same thing with the drum part. We're using high cut frequency. So it's going up, 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 up. And I really like doing this with the drums. So let's make it a little bit extreme. I don't know why I did it like that. Just do it like that. So let's make it a little bit more extreme and check it out. If we didn't use it like that, it sounds like that. Still cool, but going from like a little bit underwater with the EQ just makes it a lot better in my opinion. Now in build-ups also it's so crucial to create kind of a gap where you can either have some drum parts come in over there, which we added later on. It's actually not in this session unfortunately, but we had also the uplifter and then we've got a downlifter once the track starts. So let's just check it out all together. We can throw in the vocals as well.
Ocean side together.
Yeah, so there's nothing happening in this gap, but in the actual release, we have something happening here that we added later on. Okay, let's take a look at build-up number 2. One important factor is that I always try to make the build-ups a little bit different from each other. Same with like verse 1 and verse 2 to make it a little bit more interesting for the listener. Let's listen to the build-up and then we'll take a better look.
Through the highest waves we find our way until the tide is high by the ocean side.
So the biggest difference between this build-up and the previous one is pretty much just the piano. We introduced it in a completely different way than in the previous build-up. So as you can tell, we're not longer using whole notes, we're using quarter notes. And then I did the automation completely different than in the previous one. So if you look here, in the automation in the previous track, I used this low cut frequency and I pushed it at the end like that. In this track, we are using the high cut frequency. We're going from down a little bit up and then we go down again. In the previous build-up, we were going up the whole time. So like that. It just completely changes the build-up. Let's listen to the piano once. Makes the build-up a lot better and more interesting in my opinion. So very important to have the reverse simple or whatever you call it. It's kind of leading you into the build-up part. And then obviously we've got the uplifter and we got the built-up drums. For beats, tropical house, chill out type songs, I try to make the built-up drums not too heavy. I want to try to make it subtle. That's kind of my whole point with these build-ups. Of course, in heavy EDM, you want it to be big and loud and make the listener know something heavy is about to happen. However, in this genre, I'd like you to notice that something is about to happen, but not too aggressively. So there we have build-up number 2. Actually, I want to listen to it one more time without the vocals. And another thing to keep in mind that I haven't mentioned before, in both build-ups, I make sure everything is absolutely silent at this point on. I don't want any bleeding going on except for the vocals. Now, it doesn't have to be like that. Sometimes it's cool to have like one instrument bleed out a little bit, but in this track I want it to be completely silent, so I have automated the volume to go totally down over here. But let's listen one more time without the vocals, just so we can hear the instruments and the drums and all that stuff. Anyway, I hope you got some tips from this video and some ideas that you can use in your own build-ups. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Peace out.